All right, Tyler Perry fans, this is almost like a part two to the video I did, I think yesterday about, Tyler Perry becoming a billionaire. And again, kudos to him. Let me just say it this way. This is kind of like a silent, well, not silent because I'm actually telling you. Let this be like a disclaimer that my words and thoughts of this video should not diminish my congratulations and uh, admiration for Tyler Perry as a man who had a vision, he had faith, and he put in the work to get to where he is today. So let me just say that up front. But on the side, there are some things that could potentially and honestly kind of need to be changed. But when I was looking at the Forbes photo that had Tyler Perry on there, I saw, like, on the right hand side, movie Mongol, Tyler Perry is a quote, "I had no mentors. I didn't go to business school. Everything I've learned in progress." And then on the left hand side, this is the thing that kind of got me going. The ultimate, and these are the words that got me, one man show. And like I say in every video that involves me kind of possibly talking down, and I don't want it to come off that way, I'm speaking as a consumer, because people like us, those who are fans of Tyler Perry, those who tune in to his programs, those who buy the movie tickets, those who purchase the home video, the DVDs and Blu-rays, or pay for the BET Plus subscriptions, or they paid a little extra money each month on cable to watch the OWN network to watch his shows, or back in the day to watch the TBS programs like House of Pain, or those, not me, I never went to a play, but those who bought the play tickets and whatnot. Without us, Tyler wouldn't be a billionaire, because without us consuming the product, then there wouldn't be any revenue for him to create the studios and whatnot. So again, I hate to sound like I'm talking in circles like a lot of the scripts he writes, but I don't want to sound entitled. I just want to come across as genuine as I can when I do this video. So please, before you dislike the video or you comment something negative, just know that I'm a consumer, I'm a fan, and I realize that without the Tyler Perry shows, my channel would not be where it is today. So I'm just putting myself in I'm a self-aware person, and I'm not the billionaire. And that's pretty much it. So before going further, if you agree with what I say in the video or anything along those lines, I hope you hit the thumbs up button. I hope you hit subscribe so you can, be updated on the channel by hitting the bell notification icon and selecting all. That way, whenever I post new content, and you follow me on my social media, links are in the description below. And part of me is like, well, what I say in this video could potentially ruin any chances I have of eventually going to Tyler Perry Studios or being in the works of his someday. But, well, considering I've been doing this YouTube thing full time for almost 3 years now, and I've made a successful amount of, I've reached a certain level of success for myself on my own. So I feel like, if Tyler hasn't contacted me now, it probably ain't going to happen. But it's all to the good. So again, Tyler, if you're watching this, again, I admire you, man, but I got to speak some truth here. You need writers. We've all been saying this, and I know this video, I don't want it to come across as stale, because this is a topic we've all been discussing for a while, not just on the channel, but when I look at tweets, when I look at Instagram comments, when I look at, like whenever OWN, BET, Tyler Perry, or like the official pages for his numerous shows and movies, whenever they post something, I just see a flood of comments and people are saying the same thing. Writers. I finished watching House of Pain and Assisted Living a few hours ago, and I've already recorded my reviews on them. And there's a phrase that I continuously saw on social media, kindergarten conversation. It's like you just listen to these characters' talks, adults and the young. I don't even want to say children, but adults and like the teenagers alike are all saying, they're talking in ways that just don't make sense. Like, I think somebody, actually, let me pull up this Instagram comment, because this one person, like, they broke it down in a way that I would, in terms of like damn near bullet points. This user is called named Kairoc, KAI_ROC. Number one, and remember, this is in regards to House of Pain. Number one, Tyler Perry needs to stop with the damn laugh track after every single sentence. He didn't play it this much back in 2007. Number two, all caps, he needs to stop dragging his shows. That's my issue with Have and Have Nots, If Loving You Is Wrong, The Oval, hell, even Sisters. He's hella repetitive and repeats the same line 19 different ways than his commercial breaks. Number three, episode 1 of House of Pain was slow, but episode 2 picked up the pace and was hella funny. Episode 4, we all know Curtis makes the show. Episode 5, Demetria McKinney, aka Janine, must have been booked like crazy because Sis isn't even a full-time cast member this season, more like recurring guest star. Number 6, episode 3 looks hella good because finally the entire cast will be on screen and it seems to be picking up. Okay, I haven't seen the trailer myself, so I don't know. And overall, I love the show and will be an active viewer, but Tyler got to do better. Plus, anybody currently watching Assisted Living, Jesus Christ, it's a mess. I don't think Brown and Cora will help the show, and they haven't even gotten on screen yet. I pretty much agree with everything this person said. I get it. Tyler has said numerous times. I mean, I think what was it, back in January when he faced a lot of backlash for like posting that like 20-second video where he had mountains of scripts from all the shows. I'm probably going to miss something, but Have and Have Nots, The Oval, Sisters, Ruthless, Bruh, Young Dylan, Assisted Living, House of Pain. So he almost had 10 shows and stacks of scripts. And keep in mind, we probably didn't even see other projects he's had in the works, like movies and all, not to mention during, before he reopened Tyler Perry Studios. Who knows what he was working on writing wise during the quarantine? Like, who knows what else he wrote? But I get it. He said it. He's had writers, but then his ratings and whatnot started to dip, and his audience didn't feel like they were hearing him in the show. It was like someone else talking, and it didn't really resonate with them. But my guy, you could do better than this. Like, watching the House of Pain from back in the day to watching the House of Pain that came on last night was not the same experience. And no, it's not because the characters are older now. Listening to the dialogue, the excessive use of the laugh track on GameStop's website, they had some shot glasses on sale, some Dragon Ball Z shot glasses. And as you all know, I don't drink, but I think I might do a fun drinking game with my Welcher Sparkling. Like, anytime a laugh track comes on when it obviously shouldn't, or a line is repeated, I'll just take a shot of Welchers. That might be a fun game to do, because it's non-alcoholic for one, but at the same time, it'll be like, damn, I'll go through all my bottles of Welchers in like one sitting. It's sad, because that's the worst part about it. And I know the best argument, or the biggest argument that can be made, is like, Tyler, the one-man show, hey, this is how I did it. Because Tyler said plenty of times, like, screw Hollywood, screw the critics and whatnot. And I completely understand that. If they don't understand what you're putting out there, it doesn't matter, because you have an audience. You are a billionaire. You have success because you stuck to your guns. But I don't know if Tyler Perry will ever see this, but just know that I love what you do. And that's why I'm making this video. I'm not trying to make this video to tear a man down, because don't let what I say take away from the humongous amount of humanitarianism that Tyler Perry has done. I hope that's a real word. I don't even know what that just came out of my mouth. And then the opportunities he's given to actors who haven't had a shot in Hollywood before. And like, a lot of times they're like, yeah, sometimes it's like Tyler Perry Studios are like the springboard for an actor to get even bigger roles in like Hollywood or whatever, which I respect. But we just know you can do better in the writing game, because it's not that you're a bad writer, because we know you put out great content. Hence why a lot of us have been fans since Diary of a Mad Black Woman or the original House of Pain series, because there was a lot of heart and there was a message in what you did. But just looking at these shows now, it is, I think I made this analogy several times in the past. It's almost like a graduate student turning in a paper that's at the 5th grade writing level. It's like, we know you can do better because you've made it this far. So why are you just giving us this half-hearted writing now? I think that's one of the biggest complaints I have with the haves, and, well, not just me, but a lot of fans have with like the haves and the have-nots and all of his other big shows. They just drag on and on and on. And like the Instagram user said, it's like the same line said 17 different times. Like, go back to the first episode of House of Pain or the second episode. 2 episodes, aka 40 minutes long, and all we had was Malik having a secret and not telling anyone except for his extended family, his cousin Curtis, his aunt and his cousin Calvin, and aunt and uncle, Ella and Curtis respectively. And that was it. Like, you're staying on the same scene. We got the outside of CJ and Janine's house on the stoop. Then you got them inside the house. Then you got them at Curtis and Ella's, and that's it. Like, I'm not looking for you to go through every single set in one episode, but the original House of Pain was not that bad, compared to this. And when it comes to the haves and the have-nots, go to any of my episode reviews from the first 3 episodes we've gotten during the back half of season 7. It's like the show is dragging on. It's like the main cast are just there. We got all these new characters, but we're just talking about the same damn thing. And people want the haves and the have-nots to be a daytime soap. No, we don't need 5 episodes a week. It would drag even more, just like a regular soap opera would. But I just feel like, and again, I'm saying this as a fan. He needs help, and that's not a problem. Like, for me, I know it's like I said, and I feel like I'm going to repeat my own self from older videos, but that's the reason I do everything myself, because it's not that I wouldn't mind having an editor or someone to, do stuff for me, but I just I can't afford it because I got bills and I need to pay off student loans and whatnot. So I can't afford to have a team. But Tyler Perry's even before billionaire status, but I guess I could say it now because he is. Tyler Perry's a billionaire. If he wanted help, he could definitely afford it. Like, give some writers a chance, because I know he said that he has some projects at the studios where he will have different writers, but not on his like main shows. But he does have upcoming projects where he will have writers. I believe he said that in interviews. That was definitely something that I don't know what hurt more during the press tour for A Fall from Grace, whether it be the whole I write everything myself versus the bad wigs. And that's the worst part, where you see like these indie films or even college students. I know people who took cinematic arts at Liberty University, and I know some people who recently graduated from there, and they made these films and it looks better than some of the Tyler Perry stuff, like the movies, not the shows, but the movies, the ones that are released on Netflix, like a Fall from Grace, or even some of the films like Nobody's Fool and whatnot that are released in theaters. These are college students with a hell of a lower budget than a Tyler Perry movie, but like the transitional scenes are better, the wardrobe and acting is better. And that's the thing though, it's like, just because you can pump out like 85 movies a year, 300 episodes of all the shows you you put out, and the fact that you're able to film like 300 pages of scripts a day, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Like, I feel like if nothing else, it just puts out bad quality. So it's almost like musical artists. It's like when you listen to their first couple albums, it's like, oh man, these songs, I feel them. But then as they get bigger and bigger, it feels like their music is become more commercialized and it lacks that same level of hunger and drive. Because when you're wanting success, oh man, you are going to pour yourself into it. But once you reach a certain level of success, it's like, man, I'm not hungry anymore. I put out something just because I have to, or whatever. But other than that, I'm good. I got the money. But I'm not going to sit up here and say Tyler Perry's lazy. The hell if I am saying that. All I'm saying is there's been a massive dip in the quality, and it's not just myself who noticed it. But guess what? His shows are still going to get ratings. His shows are still going to do well in terms of what the network wants. But in terms of the overall quality, at the very least, and I'm humbled whenever people are like, hey man, Tyler Perry needs to hire you as a writer and whatnot. That's humbling, and I do appreciate it. And I love people who say they take time out to say, I love your ideas and whatnot. But I'm not experienced. I mean, I have ideas, but I'm not experienced. I did take a screenwriting class in college, and I did work on some fun videos with some friends back in the day. But I'm not going to sit up here and say I'm qualified. All I'm going to say is I hope he hires people who can help. That doesn't have to include me. Again, I am humbled. It would be an honor. But I'm not going to sit up here and say it's an easy job, especially because he does it all himself. But I just have to say, I think he's doing a disservice to those who work on the shows, specifically the cast, because again, I respect that he gives people opportunities, but I feel like they could get better material, because a lot of times I feel like a lot of these actors aren't given the chance to show what they're really made of. Because Aaron O'Connell, perfect example, aka Wyatt Cryer from the Haves and Have-Nots. He's been on a 2 or 3 Hallmark Christmas films, I believe. I think the 12 Gifts of Christmas, and there was another one. I cannot remember the name of it. And I watched those movies, and I'm like, the guy has decent range. I like, a mild-mannered person in the business world. This is a kind of, development and personality you don't see on the Haves and the Have-Nots. And I get it. Well, Jeremy, they're different things. I know, but a lot of characters are stuck in just one persona for so long that you forget they're even people. They just feel like cardboard cutouts because, oh yeah, he's going to get high again. Oh no, he's going to be arrested again. Oh no, he's going to steal again. Oh no, he's going to be in a coma again. So there are a lot of times where, I just talk with people and just look at interviews and whatnot, and they talk about how Tyler Perry, like, I forgot what cast member said this, but I know it was on Instagram or something. They were like, about 95 or 99% of what you see in our episodes are one take. And I know when it comes to a lot of other shows, like, a lot of these shows have like $1.5 million budget to film an episode. But then Tyler Perry is filming like an entire season of a show in like 2 weeks. Which, again, I commend him for, but at the end of the day, it's like, sometimes first isn't best, It's just a matter of timing. Like, for me, I know it's odd for me to talk. Like, the other day, I posted 28 videos at the same time. But at the end of the day, each video is different. I take my time on each video. Like, obviously, the one thing I need to work on is not straining my voice, because there might be videos where I sound energetic and happy and whatnot and interested, but then there might be a video you click on next where I don't sound as invested, because that's like the 14th video I recorded in a row. But at the same time, I make sure all my videos are different. Like, sometimes even if there's like one specific subject, I can do like multiple videos on it because I can talk about it from different angles. But with the Tyler Perry stuff, the show just drags on. The characters are just nonsensical in how they talk. Sometimes they are dramatic. I think that's the one damning thing about the writing. Sometimes, like in Sisters, there are dramatic pauses for no reason in between characters saying a line. But then in other shows, there's a lot of repetitive dialogue where there aren't a lot of dramatic pauses, but the characters are saying the same lines like 17 times, like that young lady said on Instagram. So I just feel like when it comes to a bad wig or when it comes to stale dialogue, it's like Tyler Perry has the resources. I know it's like his thing is, doing it all himself. He doesn't have to answer anyone else. He can put out material as he sees fit. Without a writing team, he doesn't have to go through a lot of, proofreading, and also he doesn't have to wait for people to do this, because I cannot even imagine, even if he had a team of writers, it would definitely slow down how he does things. And obviously, like Hamilton, the man is nonstop. Why do you assume that you're the smartest? And look, I love Hamilton. Shut up. But it's like, I feel like even if he had a team of writers, if they weren't able to do things as quickly as he would like, it wouldn't work. So on that side, I can understand it. But I think, like I said before, I don't think a lot of Tyler's recent work has the longevity of his older work. I feel like a lot of his recent movies, a lot of his recent shows, I don't think they'll last in terms of the culture as the original House of Pain series, as Meet the Browns, as Diary of a Mad Black Woman, as Daddy's Little Girls. Even going back to his early plays, it's like those shows are like over 10 years old. Some of them are even older. But they still are rewatchable. They still have great messages. And a lot of times, even in recent stuff, Tyler does write moral and wholesome values and messages in his work, but they're buried beneath They're buried beneath an overuse of the laugh track, stale dialogue. And it's almost like these moments of value are so few and far in between that when they finally land, it's like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Then we go back to the bad stuff. So I feel like I just wish he would take his time. And again, I'm saying it from a fan and consumer standpoint, because it hurts. Like, again, going back to like the haves and the have-nots, if anybody asks me, hey, I'm new, what should I start? If you watch nothing but season 1 on Hulu, which is the first 34 episodes, I think, then you can stop right there. Season 2 is not that bad, but if you watch nothing more than like the first 34 episodes, from the big surprise to checkmate, then you're blessed. I know that's kind of a weird thing to say, but that was when the show was at its prime. But then you look at where the show is now, and it's like, nah. So I'm still reviewing it because it gets views. And plus, I'm interested. I'm intrigued for where the story is going. I just don't like how the story is getting there. There's a lot of dragging in the plot. And I mean, instead of writing all these half-hearted shows like, Assisted Living and House of Pain season 9 and whatnot, give us that finale give us the finale we would deserve for If Loving You Was Wrong. People tuned into that show. Say what you want about the show. Yeah, I don't think it was as good as the haves and the have-nots during its heyday, but we invested in that show. Ratings. I'm not going to sit up and say it like I'm entitled to it, because I didn't watch every episode religiously. I binged it before season 4 came on, and then I started reviewing it. But for the people who were watching since the beginning, like, give us the ending we need. Don't wait 5 years and do it. Don't wait. Don't do that, because all we need to do is figure out, did Eddie really die? Did he wear a bulletproof vest? Who's the father of Alex's baby? Will Marcy get away? Brad and Marcy get away with framing Alex for the murder? That kind of stuff. We don't need 3 seasons. We don't need an epic 5-season run of the show. Just give us like one final season. It could be like a dozen episodes or 10 episodes to finish off. You're a billionaire, Tyler. The way you're pumping out material now, you know good and well you can do it. So here's what I want. I feel like this is what I want. Again, I'm only speaking for myself here. If you agree, then I appreciate it. If you don't, this is just my opinion. I think Tyler Perry definitely needs some writers. If nothing else, maybe some people to proofread or consult him on the writing, because it's like, hey man, what you're doing is great. You've proved it. I know you've proved it. Here's an example. My roommate's like, hey man, do you ever think about oversaturating your audience when you post X amount of videos too quickly? I'm like, that's true. There have been times where I have like slowed down dramatically and maybe only posted 2 or 3 videos at a time, and those 2 or 3 videos alone get more views combined than when I post like 20 at a time. But I'm on a time crunch sometimes where it's like, damn, like I was busy with eBay stuff, or I needed to give myself a vocal rest. So like these 15 have and have not videos, I wasn't able to do them spread out. So I had to crunch them together and get them up on the channel prior to the episode coming out. That's on me. Like, I understand that. But when it comes to Tyler Perry, it's like, I just wish he would put out stuff that would last. That would last. Like, for example, The Pains came out a couple years ago. If I'm not mistaken, The Pains is on Hulu. In the comment section below, let me know. Who has went back and watched The Pains at all? Seriously, let me know. Have you watched anything of The Pains online since it came out? I know I haven't. Nobody's Fool. That movie came out a couple years ago. Have you sat down and rewatched that at all? If you watched it even the first time? A Fall from Grace came out in January. When you initially watched it, have you watched it since then? And also, why did you watch it to begin with? Did you watch it because you're a fan of Tyler Perry? You're a fan of Crystal Fox, Felicia Richard, Cicely Tyson? Did you watch it because of them? Or did you only click on the video because you heard about how bad it was and you wanted to see how bad it was for yourself? So I feel like part of me is, it's easy to say, people only come in for Tyler because he's black and we need to support black people when they do stuff. I'm not against that, supporting black business and black stuff. But just because it's black doesn't mean that you have to blindly support it. I feel like blind allegiance is worse than not supporting at all. I feel like representing something and supporting it because of the quality of it. And when you're a billionaire, but then you're putting out work that's easily torn apart by critics and by fans, that's a problem. Because it's almost like it's half-hearted. When you can watch scenes and you can pick out things. I know it's nitpicky, like in A Fall from Grace, that extra in the back isn't drinking anything. His plate has nothing on it. The judge has a script. You can literally see the script in front of him on camera. That's a problem. Because like I said before, when you have like college students and people on lower budgets who can make great continuity in their films, the acting is on point, the wardrobes look amazing. But then when you're a billionaire and you just rush projects, I think that's a problem. But guess what? Nobody's making me watch the shows. Nobody's making me watch the movies. I can easily change it up whenever I wanted to. I'm well aware of that. That's why this video, if you don't agree with what I'm saying, if you don't like it, that's completely fine. You are entitled to your opinion as I'm entitled to mine. But as an active consumer of these products, I do feel like I think fans, we deserve more. But again, don't let my words here diminish any of Tyler's accomplishments, the good he's done for people. Like, it's amazing when I read those stories about how he donated gift cards to people, paid off layaways, student loans for people, even though I love that help on myself. But after this video, I know that ain't going to happen. But I know it's easier to critique than it is to create. And I think about what Kelly was telling me that one time we briefly talked on Instagram. You need to get into the TV business yourself and write and whatnot. That would be awesome. Maybe someday. Who knows? Maybe this channel will be the springboard for me to do that. Like Tyler Perry Studios is the springboard for actors to get into, even bigger projects. But I just feel like for the time being, I think and I know Tyler can do better than what he's doing in terms of the quality of what he's doing. Like the camera work, the scene, look, the camera angles, the camera lighting, basically the elements of what makes the show great are there. But in terms of like the acting and the writing, that's where I think there could be some work. So with that being said, that's all I got to say. This video is a lot longer than I thought it would be, but I just had to get that off my chest. After watching Assisted Living and House of Pain, that's pretty much what I had to say. But let me know what you think. Do you think that this was just a needless rant? Like I need to vent to get this off my chest? Do you feel like I feel? Let's talk about it in the comment section below. I'll let this sit for about a day or so, and I'll come back to the comments and read them. If there's a decent amount of comments and some healthy discussion, I might do a live stream where we can talk about this together. But for now, that's all I got for you. If you'd like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal, Cash App, or join Patreon for at least $1 a month if you want. I'd appreciate it. And with that being said, I'll talk to you in the next video.